Am I there? Am I here?
Yeah. Hello there.
Hello.
Melissa. Can I call you Mel? Is that all right?
A lot of people do. So yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we'll keep it casual, right?
Yes.
So, pleasure to meet you. I'm Brendon. It's been a long time because, I'm a big fan of yours. I've been a huge proponent of more women in Bigfoot. There can't be enough. And so I want to, what we'll do with this interview, because this is going to be cut down to like, I don't know if you've seen the show. It's going to be cut down to like 3 or 4 minutes, right? So what I want to do is I want to knock out because you're kind of an ambassador for
Maybe.
women, right? Well, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And so
Never thought about it, but okay. Yeah.
yeah, right. I think you are.
Okay, cool.
Well, you're strong, determined, and fearless woman, and I think more women can learn from role models like you, especially with the Bigfoot field, because I look at our demographics on our channel, right, and it's male 44 to 55, right, and that seems to be the sad demographic in Bigfoot, really.
Right. It is male dominated for sure. Yeah.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it up here. I'll do a quick intro and we'll just do this. It's going to all be cut up, and then we'll go. I got 3 or 4 questions, and then I want to stop that, and then I want to back up, and I want to talk about RebelSass, because I want to bring that up next week in the show because it opens up Monday, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Here we go. Melissa, so glad to have you on This Week in Bigfoot. I've been wanting to get you on the show for a while. We just haven't had time, and finally our schedules align. So thank you for joining.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's exciting because I think with this whole topic we're talking about is women in Bigfoot, and I think they've been so underrepresented in the community. And I want to ask you a question: how you got into it, first of all, and then it's a 2-part question, and then what you think women in general, how the perspective, and you can be as honest and as brutal as you want, maybe is more geared toward trying to figure this thing out.
Well, first question. I got into it with my dad. My dad had always had an interest in Bigfoot when I was growing up. And later in life, when the World Wide Web came around, he let me know that his interest had never waned, that he'd taken it to the World Wide Web. And that's where he found the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. And long story short, they ended up coming to Georgia, and he was like totally thrilled and didn't want to go by himself. So I went with him, and my brother went with him. And basically after that experience, I was hooked. And by my 3rd expedition, which was only like 3 or 4 months into really getting into this hobby or interest area, I had a really cool experience that made me think, okay, there's really something out there. And of course, then I was really hooked. So,
you got spoiled lucky, right? I mean, you got spoiled early.
Yes.
Right? Okay,
yes.
Keep going. Yeah.
For sure. And the second part of your question was, let me make sure I heard it right. Wanting to know, I guess, how women stack up in the field.
Right. So I'll because we'll edit right there, and then I'll pose the question right now. So
okay.
So Melissa, I know you. I told you this before we started recording. Is I kind of look at you as a brand ambassador for Women in Bigfoot research, because I think you've been here in the community for a while. You're very strong-willed, and you do a lot of badass shit. I watched your videos and I see your stuff when you're even out in the woods. But my question to you is, what unique perspectives and skills do you believe women like yourself and others bring to the Bigfoot research? Yeah, there we go.
Oh, so what women bring to you're wanting to know what I think women bring to the field?
Skills, yeah, unique perspectives and skills.
Unique perspectives and skills. Got it. Okay. And first, thank you for calling me an ambassador. That was like high praise. Thank you. No one's ever called me an ambassador for Bigfoot before. I feel special.
Oh, good for you.
So I think women as a group in the woods probably are a little less threatening than men, because, we do tend to be a little smaller in stature, and we don't generally go around hunting a lot. I guess, men versus women hunting in the woods. I'm sure there's a lot more men than women do. I haven't seen the actual statistics, but I'm sure that is a male dominated sport. And so, that right off, we're not threatening because we're not walking into the woods with those guns. And so the other thing is, we probably just smell better. And we're often with children, and so that makes us less threatening if we just happen to be in the woods for whatever reason. So we do have a little bit more of a more nurturing and compassionate side by nature. That's just how women are wired. So that might make us a little more approachable. And then of course, maybe because women are quite chatty with one another, but might give the appearance that we are somewhat distracted. It might make it easier to get close to us, to observe us. I'm just throwing that out there. We tend to be really social when we're together. So not that we're not aware of our surroundings, but maybe it might give that appearance. And so that might make us a little more approachable. It does. When I very first got into the hobby, I was told, because I think I was the only woman there at the time, and I think I was told that of all the people there, I had the greatest chance of being the person to have the encounter. And I said, well, why is that? And they were saying, well, women, based on the sighting reports, women generally have the more spectacular, interactions or encounters. And so I don't know if I believe that 100%, but I can see that definitely women would be, if I had to just walk up to a stranger, a woman versus a man, I probably might gravitate towards the woman because I might be the less threatened by her. So it makes sense that women might be more attractive for a number of reasons, those being the ones that I just stated. And then especially unique abilities that we have. I think women tend to be a little more empathic than men. And so it's just, again, how we're wired, because we are nurturers and a lot of us have children, and there's that kind of psychic connection we have to our children. And so it makes us a little more empathic. So we are a little more in tune, I think, when the spider senses are going off, when there's something, either a danger or just if all of a sudden we're not the biggest person on the food chain, we might be a little more inclined to listen to that inner voice. I think just as a gender, I think we're a little more empathic. So that's my 2 cents for what it's worth.
That was perfect. That was an excellent answer. And I love, what I love about doing these shows is it's pre-recorded, and it's going to be all nice and tightened up. And so they got a dog in the background. Right? So you're in Georgia, right?
Yes. Come here.
All right. I love dogs. I just lost my French bulldog a year ago, and I had him for 13 years. And that's if you notice, my Facebook name is Archibald Franklin.
I did see that.
It's a little weird, but that's my dog's name. Yeah.
Was he a Frenchie?
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister had one too. They're so cute. So cute.
I had him for 13 years, and I got him out in Seattle. I lived out in Seattle for 17 years, and I got him, I think it must have been 2010. Yeah, because he died. He died in 23. So, yeah. So it was just it was tough because he was such a good buddy. And I don't know if I'm ready yet. I don't know if I'm ready to get back on the horse and get another Frenchie.
I totally understand. Yeah.
Because the loss, I sound like such a freaking prick, but I was actually more
no, not at all.
More upset when my dog died than when my father died. It sounds awful, right? I know, but it's the truth, and I was much closer to the dog, right? I mean, nothing wrong with my dad. It just seems like
there are emotional support animals. They're there for us no matter what. Their love is unconditional. So
yeah, and he went everywhere with me. I mean, I got a letter. He could fly with me on the plane because he used to travel for work. I used to take him shopping, and he drove with me from Seattle in my truck, like riding shotgun the whole way. It's just a lot of fun.
That is so awesome. I love that.
It's just sad. He had cancer, and it just sucked. So anyway, all right. So you live in Georgia, right? Do you live in Georgia?
I do.
Okay.
North Georgia.
You were recently down at Pike County, right? You spoke at the Pike County, Georgia Festival last November?
Yes, I did. Molina Bigfoot Festival. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to ask you now. This is another one. And again, if you don't have an answer, it's whatever. It's just, but when you go to these conferences, because I've been to a bunch of conferences, and we're going to be going to the OBC and hopefully doing some stuff there this year. When you speak and you're at a conference and you listen to people's presentations, do you feel like other researchers, and you can, I don't know if this is true, but do you feel like you've ever encountered any challenges or kind of maybe a almost like not a prejudice, but kind of it's a woman, these guys kind of look down at you. Like, does that make sense? I'm trying to figure out a way to pose this question where,
Yeah.
is it hard to be a woman at your level doing conferences with men? Do you feel like they feel like they have to compete with you?
I have not had the experience of having anybody to make me feel lesser than in the few times. I don't do it a whole lot, but the few times that I have been asked to speak at different conferences or whatever, I have only been supported by my peers and encouraged. And so I would say that maybe when I very first got into it, there was a lot of hate when I very first got into it. But at that point I wasn't really speaking. I think I did one conference. And when I did that conference, again, when I was at the conference, I felt really supported because I think everybody there wanted to be there and had a really, they had an interest in the subject and they didn't care who was talking as long as they were bringing good information or whatever. So I would say that maybe once upon a time that might have been the norm. But I have not had that experience. I've been lucky or the tides are changing.
Okay, good. I was just, what's funny is I've been what I've noticed, and this won't be on the show, is and this will be with the whole video will be for members like our YouTube channel, which is great. But what I've noticed is a lot of presenters, and I'm not going to mention any names because they're all kind of the same, as they like to pat themselves on the back. They have a tendency to kind of, this is what I got, and this is what I did, and here's my book, and here's my barbecue sauce, and here's all this stuff, and I get it. But if you listen and you really break down their presentations, they're all kind of exactly the same. And I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying a large majority of them. And I was asked to do a couple, and I actually did a motivational speech. I did like a passion project. I didn't talk about Bigfoot. I talked about passion projects and motivational and try to get out there and do stuff, whether it's Bigfoot or whatever, and focus on it and do it and cherish it, because you need distractions in your life and you need things that you're passionate about. And I actually had a very good response because people are like, it's so nice to hear somebody talk not about these footprints or these crappy photos that they have and stuff like that. So I don't do them ever, but so it's good to hear that you never had any type of prejudice against you. Now, the last question I have for the segment is, now, like I said, I really honestly consider you an ambassador for women in Bigfoot. I think you've been a strong role model. And how can we help draft or recruit more women into the field? Just invite them to come out. If you have buddies and they have girlfriends or wives or whatever, have them come too, because they, I think if they have any sort of interest at all in the unexplained, and a lot of all right, so let's start with I'm gonna say, hey, have them come out, anything with the unexplained. That's cute. What kind of dog? He's a mutt. He's part long-haired Chihuahua, part Corgi. So he's just a funny looking dog. Troublemaker. He's my buddy, but he's loud. That he'll bark at anybody that dares to walk past our house. So anyway, I'm so sorry. Let's do that again. Okay. So here we go. Now, like I said in the beginning of the segment, I've always considered you a brand ambassador for Bigfoot when it comes to women, because you're very strong and your presence. You have a good presence and a strongness about you, and I think it's great. How can you or other Bigfoot researchers help involve and recruit younger generations, younger women, and maybe regular women to come and get interested in the Bigfoot field? Easy. Just invite them to come along. I have a couple of girlfriends that I've invited to do
some Bigfooting with me, or just what I call initiating them into Bigfoot research, where I'll take them off road and just kind of in the dark, and we'll sit in the truck and just listen a little bit, so nothing too scary out there, because some people genuinely, that's just not their thing. That's not fun for them. It's too scary for them. But there's so many people that do really love that and do love the thrill of the unknown. And so I just invite, if you've got if it's a bunch of men going out and they've got girlfriends and wives, just ask them to come along. It's always fun. And I feel like honestly, whenever we've had a mix of men and women in an expedition, it seems like if we're going to have some activity, it's usually because the women are there. So it's really interesting. And so I just feel like just invite, just let people know that adventures and hobbies aren't just for men. If you're older and your kids are grown and you need a hobby, adventures are not just for men. They're for women too. And anything boys can do, girls can do too. And so just go out and try something new. You might decide that you really, really like it, and then you'll get hooked and you'll get the bug, and you'll go out every chance you get.
It's great that you said that. I have been looking, it's funny, I have been looking for a female host to be on the show and to work with. I find the female perspective very calming for me, right? I find it's very nurturing, and I respect women. I've raised that way. But it's, it's hard to find women, at least on the East Coast where I live, that are willing to get involved and try to throw their hat in the ring. It's very hard, So let's move on real quick. So that's perfect. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to thank you for this segment, right? And just say, hey, going to come back soon. And then we'll jump right into the RebelSass. We'll talk about RebelSass. That'll be on next week's show. Okay. And then we're good. I think we're good. We're actually, look at that. It's 5 after 4. All right.
Yeah, you're fast.
I know. Well, I'm prepared, right? So, okay. So, well, Melissa, I'm so glad that you stopped by, and you have to promise to come by again real soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
So that being said, RebelSass. I've been getting these messages on my Facebook message about RebelSass. You want to tell everybody about what's going on with your brand?
Yes, RebelSass is a brand new online Bigfoot teas and gifts shop, and we're going to be launching next week. So we've invented the character of Rebel, and she is a pink, glamorous Bigfoot, and she's full of attitude and sass because, we kind of feel like the women in the Bigfoot community are a little bit underrepresented. And so this is something for us and for the men who love us. There'll be some stuff for men too. But we're really excited about this character, and you'll be seeing some really funny videos that kind of tell the story of Rebel. So look us up, RebelSass on Brendon.I.
Now, you know what's so nice about, and you're going to have to please send me some, if you can send me some artwork that I can put in the segment, some PNGs or whatever. What I love about it is I freaking love about it is that you have a Bigfoot artwork that is not frame 365 of the Patterson Gimlin film. You know what I'm talking about? Like this.
Yes.
Everybody wants that fucking shirt.
Right. And I was
was
very adamant that it not be that, because whenever you look up anything Bigfoot, when you go to order anything Bigfoot, they all look the same. It's the same exact vector file that everyone's using. Yeah. And I'm like, let's try something new. There's so many tools out there to create artwork now. So let's just do something different.
That's what we did with our group, is our logo. I love our logo. It's got a really cool Sasquatch with the mountains, but it's not 365. And I'm so freaking in love with our logo, and I'm never going to change it. I don't care if I sell no shirts. But when I saw your stuff, I was like, wow, she's got it. She gets it. People don't want, like you said, women and girls don't want to have this black with a big footprint on the back and the 365 vector. So it's awesome. So it comes out this Monday, which will be the day after this show airs. So that'll be the 22nd of January. And give me the website again.
It's RebelSass at Printify or .printify.
Okay. And then now where can people follow you? What's your social media channels?
Well, I'm on Instagram. That's Siren BFC1 Bigfoot Chick 1, and Siren spelled the normal way. And then you can find me on Facebook, of course, Melissa Adair, or you can follow my personal business, which is Siren Media, spelled Cyrinn, or you can follow my new Bigfoot gift shop, RebelSass.
Perfect. Well, Melissa, I'm so glad you stopped by for the second time in 2 weeks. We are going to put the link. Everybody's got to go out there and buy a bunch of RebelSass. I'm going to order some, and I'm going to wear it on the show, and I better see everybody else do it. So, Melissa, thank you again for stopping by again.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
See how easy it is?
That was easy.
Yeah, now you just